Hi everyone, it's Bev here, your mental health coach, providing tips, tools, techniques and advice helping you to stay mentally strong in these difficult times and beyond. So the topic for this video is forgiveness, and it seems an opportune time to talk about forgiveness. So what I want to do in this video is express what forgiveness is and what it isn't, the benefits of forgiveness for you, and then to give you some pointers on how you could start to forgive someone that has trespassed against you and done you wrong. So first of all, what is forgiveness? Well, forgiveness is the deliberate action to let go of the resentment and anger of what somebody has done to you in the past. It is so difficult to forgive. We've got these cliches, don't we, about forgive and forget. Well, how can you forget an injustice? It's impossible. And another cliche that people say, well, we need to bury the hatchet. But again, how can you do that? Because every time you see that person or you remember what they did, you want to bury the hatchet in their head. But really, the reasons why we find it difficult to forgive is because of this ego situation. You know, it's really like, how could they do this to me? I've got to hold them accountable for forever. You know, it's we think that by forgiving we're excusing the behavior. That's not what forgiveness is about. We think that by forgiving we're condoning the behavior, we're colluding with what they did, and again, that's not forgiveness. Really, forgiveness is about letting go of whatever they did, because what you're saying is that whatever you did is your shit, really, and it has nothing to do with me. It does not define me. And by forgiving people, you are releasing the chains or the noose, the association, so that you're free to live your life as you intended. If you don't forgive, then you are going to go into every situation, every relationship that you have in the future with trust issues, with holding your breath, waiting to see if they're going to do something, do you wrong. And that's no way to live. When you can forgive, you free yourself, as I've said, but also you give yourself a boost physically. It stops you hardening your arteries with resentment and anger. You boost your immune system straight off the bat. You feel lighter. Mentally, forgiveness is really brilliant for your mental health, because you're not tied to the resentment, to negative energy. You're not tied to that person. Whatever that person did is their issue. It is really important when you are in the process of forgiving is to understand what part that you had to play in everything that happened. Now, some things happen and it was nothing to do with you. You know, like being bullied at school, nothing to do with you. Being with parents that were not so forgiving, if you will, with your misdemeanors. But sometimes when we're in a relationship, we think, well, I'm never going to forgive this person. But you were in the relationship. What part did you have to play? And forgiveness is, as I said before, is about being lighter. So you say to yourself, yeah, I was crazy in love. I was stupid, perhaps. I made mistakes, and hey ho, I am human. It is important to recognize your part in all of this. So then, how do you move on to forgive somebody? Well, first of all, before we move on to the how, I want you to know that you are a forgiving person. Forgiveness is part of your nature. So, for instance, if somebody steps on your toe by accident, would you forgive them? Yes, of course. Now, if somebody cuts in front of you in traffic, do you forgive them? It's getting a little bit harder, but you could give them a pass, couldn't you? So why are you holding on to all the things that people have done to you from childhood? Don't you see how heavy it makes you, how weary it is to keep on going over the things that people have done to you in the past? It's doing you no favors, no good. So, how do you forgive? Well, it is easier said than done, I have to acknowledge that. And the most important thing to do is to start small. Start with a little thing that somebody has done to you and see if you can forgive. See if you can analyze what happened, because the first thing is to go into the situation, actually to look at it as if you're looking at a film. So they did this, I did that. They then let me down drastically, horribly, and I then built up all this negative emotion towards them. See it for what it is and go into that and see if you can pick away. Well, I don't forgive them for what they did, but I can forgive something. I can forgive the lead up to it, if you will. Decide, I'm going to forgive you. I am going to forgive you. Even if you make yourself angry in the process, I am going to forgive you, asshole, because I do not deserve to be tied to what you did. What you did does not define me. And that is an intellectual decision. It is a decision of the head before it becomes a decision of the heart. Because holding resentment and grudges is not you. That's not who you are. You're empathetic. You're a good person. So let it go. Work on it. Work on it. Pick away at it. Reframe it. What was going on? Actually, by reframing it, ask yourself the question, did this person do this deliberately? Well, if they did, then you're free. Free of the asshole, right? Move on, walk on, don't look back. And if they didn't know what they were doing, don't they deserve a pass? Don't they deserve a pardon? Freedom is really tough. It requires emotional intelligence. But when you forgive somebody, you are ultimately free. And free people are dangerous. I'll leave it there. Have a great day.